We're live. Hello, everybody.
Hello.
It's not D&D tonight.
Hello.
We're not playing D&D tonight.
I blame our DM, who's not me this time.
Oh, now it's just a mean thing you've said instead of self-deprecating.
We take a sabbatical from D&D today to play another tabletop role playing game. Tonight we will play a GM-less game called The Fall of Magic. It's by the group the Heart of the Deernicorn. And it's a game that people talk with. People say it's a better version of a Quiet Year, which we've also played on this channel. But I will let you guys. Same group. We'll see what happens. So the main premise, and I want you guys to kind of focus on this. Magic is dying, and the Magus is dying with it.
Not the Magus.
We travel together to the realm of Umbra, where magic was born. So it's going to be a kind of a collaborative storytelling game. Like they kind of imply it's like chapters in a fantasy novel. We're going to each be characters, but we're also going to take on the characteristics of the character, the Magus. Magus.
Not the Magus.
Magus. So basically, I'll show you. So if we had a physical version, we'd get a cool scroll that we get to unfold, but we're going to play on a PDF because we're losers, and also there's a pandemic. So this should only take about 2 hours, but we've never done anything on time, so we'll see how it goes. If we need to take a break, we'll take a break. Blah blah blah. So think small, don't plan too far ahead is what they would suggest. Okay. And then it's a social fantasy. Together we will create a story involving our characters. If you make a scene that has one of the other characters in it, you may go ahead. They may go ahead and kind of interact. But in the end, your character is your property. You get to make. You are the one who tells the truth about that one. Emotional safety. Obviously, we've been through it. I mean, we are pretty well versed with each other, but don't be weird, guys. And I think we'll be okay. Okay. So the basis. So unfortunately, we don't get tokens, even though there are token JPEGs I can show you. But we'll just have to use our brains. Each location. We'll start at a place called Ravenhall, and each location. The Magus will go there, and then each of us will kind of go in a circle, and we will take our character to a location, and at the location there will be a story prompt. So let me see. So if you can see on the screen right now, it doesn't quite look like this, but there will be a place like the bridge is a place. You put your character in that place, and they'll give you a story prompt. In this case, it'll be you're facing the river. And then you tell a small bit of story regarding your character at that location and make sure you use the story prompt. Now, we will go around in a circle. Each of you will go to locations. Each of our characters will go to locations. We'll tell a little story. When somebody thinks it's appropriate, they will inhabit the character of the Magus, and normally you'd move the Magus token to the next place on the map. And basically, we are gonna have a journey from the Ravenhall to Umbra for the death of magic. Okay. And then just basically describe yourself, describe what's going on. You describe the scene that's going on. Try to play in character as much as you can. There are some kind of special spots. Like in the beginning, there will be some places with a thing called traits, where you'll see like multiple options. Basically, you're gonna tell your story part there. You will select one of these traits and describe how it's true about one of the characters, and then that character will get to add that down as part of their kind of defining features. So, like in the Rose Garden, There's beautiful, legendary, fierce. So like if Meg goes there and describes Jack's character as legendary, he would have the like plus legendary to his character. Okay. And that can be removed and things like that. Okay. And then anyway, once it's your turn and your character's already done what you think the character needs to do, you may opt to move the Magus, so you advance on the dash path on the map, and then you describe this location and the story prompt, and this is going to be through the perspective of the Magus. So this is a character that we kind of work together. So when you play the Magus, show us who they are, what they're thinking, how we should travel together, or how we travel together, just as you would your own character, sort of. And then obviously the rest of us can kind of add to that. There will be situations where you'll need to roll a d6 for a certain situation. Sometimes it's peril, sometimes it's something or other. And you roll the d6 and you try to describe what happens. Again, you don't have to describe the entirety of the thing. If worst case scenario, we can somebody else can end the what you open up with, basically. And then there's the leaf that designates change. You got to remove something from your note card, whether it's your name, your title, your trait, and then you have to explain how that happened. In this case, Kabu, this was Jack's character, the legendary, has to pay an unusual price. He loses his title of legendary, and then basically they tell a small story of how he's not as legendary as he thought he was. Then they're in kind of near the end. There is 2 ways to cross the ocean. There is, if you decide to take the path that goes the deep way, you go underground, and there's a whole underground section. If you go over sea, there's Lost Islands. Again, more of the same, but not like anything too intense. And then as we approach the end of the thing, we'll have a last round, and then we'll go from there. So again, most of this is just storytelling, and whatever your D&D DM skills are like. But I'm gonna switch over to the actual map, and we'll see how it goes. Does anybody have any questions so far?
So we're all playing an so unlike.
I'm gonna take that as a no, but I can't see anybody's face.
Can you not hear us?
No, I can't hear you.
You can't. No, you can't hear me.
How is that possible?
Sorry, I hear Woo. I didn't hear the others till right now.
Okay. Well, I was actually asking a question when you said no. There are no questions.
Didn't you hear? You can't hear us, Woo. You can't hear us.
All right.
The question was, compared to the last game we played, compared to A Quiet Year, we're all playing a singular character this time, the whole time?
We are playing a singular character. Your story vignettes can also have other characters. I would suggest just have them, pop in and do, like, if you're like, oh, I see what's his name over there, and it's Jack's character, Jack would probably respond the way Jack would respond, right? But in the end, you're mostly playing your character, and then anybody who wants to move the scene has to play the Magus.
I see.
So we haven't even decided what what the Magus is, if he or she is, he or she, like 1,000 options. But together we probably should build that as we go along, right? Okay.
How important is it for me to be able to see the screen game board as we're playing? Because for some reason, everything that you were streaming wasn't coming up on my screen for some reason. It was just like the Discord loading symbol the whole time.
You have the same problem I do, which is your computer is old as shit. So
you think it could be because I have 300 tabs open right now?
Could also be.
Possibility?
Nah,
can you
unlikely.
Can you see what I'm looking at right now?
Well, I'll click watch it. It's trying. I'm just getting the Discord loading screen right now. Again, like before.
I guess there's only 2. You do need to see what's on the screen, but it's not like
pull up on my phone. I wonder if I can just join in on my phone as well.
You could. No, you can't. You can't join the conversation on two different locations. It'll log you out of here and go to your phone. What I would probably suggest, since this is not a dynamic screen, just go on Woo's Twitch.
You're adding to the view count?
I'll just come in.
What? Where'd you go, Jack?
Where did you go, Jack?
I'm back. Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Oh
I can't
no.
see you.
You can kind of hear him. Yeah.
I signed in onto my phone. Foolhardily. All right. I will pull up the stream. That's a great idea.
Yeah.
And you can too if you're watching on twitch.tv/WooFireGotPower. You can watch on twitch.tv/WooFireGotPower.
Holy shit!
Oh, perfect.
Some sort of inception going on here.
Wow. Please don't forget to sub with your Amazon Prime, free Prime sub every month.
Actually, somebody gifted 5 subs last month, which is amazing.
Oh, damn, awesome.
Yeah.
That's cool.
That was pretty neat. Now
All right, I got to pull up.
All right. So, so here we go. Basically, I guess we'll all go around. You pick a name, and then you'll pick your title of choice. And remember, it doesn't have to be the literal thing if you don't want it to be. So, for your title, anyway. So, I guess so I'm just gonna go in the order that my Discord is. Meg, would you pick a name? We'll pick a name and then we'll pick titles.
Goo, the goo.
Which one?
Are there pre-existing names, or are we
They're
making one up?
pre-existing names. Don't know why if that's necessary, but they have a little list on the.
On the spot.
I came up with totally random names. Okay.
You can do that. Maybe.
No, I can't see the small names.
Okay. All right. So the names are Harp, Kabu, Elamura, Justice, Vago, Fawn, Caspian, Piccolo, and River.
I'll do Piccolo.
Piccolo.
Nice.
Cool.
Old school BBC fan right there for you.
Okay. I guess since I'm second on this list, I'll go with Vago.
Vago.
All right. Jack.
Caspian.
Cool. And Woo.
Harp.
Harp. Okay.
Go Harp.
Go Harp. All right, Meg. Can you see the titles at least? It's so it's gonna take a little.
I can see some of the things.
Which one?
I can see some of the things.
Okay.
It's just like font. Is there any way you could enhance?
Enhance. I guess.
It's only in movies.
Just to zoom in. Yeah. Now we're talking.
Ooh, look at that fancy.
Okay.
Okay, so I need a title.
So you are Piccolo, the something of something.
I'll be the apprentice of Ravenhall.
Cool. All right. Vago. I will be the merchant of Italia. All right. Jack.
Okay. I'll be the Ranger of Mistwood.
Cool.
What's your name again?
Caspian.
He is Caspian, the Ranger of Mistwood. Okay. Also, you probably want to write that down somewhere. Just fair warning.
That's what I'm doing.
It's in a text document.
Same. Yeah. Harp is the hero of Barleytown.
Mm-hmm.
It's quite the town and quite the hero.
Oh, Harp. Hero of Barleytown. Okay. That's it. Cool. All right. So, now that we have our titles, we're going to start in Ravenhall. Does anybody have a preference on starting?
I mean, this is my home turf.
Okay. Yeah, well, then let's do it. So, Piccolo, the apprentice, you right? You said?
Yep.
The apprentice of Ravenhall. You pick one of the 4 locations of Ravenhall. You have a story prompt, and you just go at it. So, I mean, again, you remember the whole thing is we are presumably starting a journey with the Magus, and yeah. So just say.
I guess I'll go to the Rose Gardens.
Okay, so in this case, and remember, if you mentioned, basically, you're you're gonna tell your story. You know, obviously, if your little vignette, if you're in the Rose Gardens doing whatever you're doing in the Rose Gardens, at some point you have to kind of put one of these attributes to one of us, and we'll go from there.
So I'm preparing for my journey, or Piccolo's preparing for their journey. And I'm, doing some warm-up stretches because I imagine there's going to be a lot of walking on this journey. Doing a gear check, making sure that all of my supplies are in order. And I am recalling the legend of the harp of the hero of Barleytown. I'm very excited to travel with this fierce companion.
So, sorry, that is if you Woo, you'll add the modifier fierce to your plus fierce, and yeah. Then Meg, if you'd like to keep going, or if you have anything to talk about, keep going. Let me know.
I don't really have anything to talk about.
That's fine.
Doesn't really happen in the story yet.
Okay. Anybody else have something to start off with, or like just pick a location and we'll go from there, or I can, I guess I'll do something at some point.
I'll take so Harp is just arriving in Ravenhall now, right? And
sure.
Is going to find himself in the menagerie, right?
Mm.
And he is recalling the last time he saw real magic, which was, of course, back home in Barleytown, when a traveling wizard, a really old man, right? Maybe like somebody that they used to come around a lot, like travel from town to town, but we haven't seen one at all in a very long time. And he came by and did some very almost like close-up hand magic, like some prestidigitation of like little trinkets and things to show off to the children. And there was a kind of a feeling in the entire town that that this used to happen more frequently, one, and that it used to be more impressive, right? But for whatever reason, this is all that he was able to show off. And that was, 5 years ago, and we haven't seen another magician come through since.
Okay. All right. Okay. Unless Jackie got something, I guess I'll go. So Vago will be in the at the scrying pool, and I imagine it's not. I imagine it's more than like. I imagine it's kind of. I imagine the that scene from Harry Potter. I don't remember where they could kind of like almost like dip their head and they'd have a memory. You remember that thing I'm talking about? Yeah, that one. So I'm thinking like it must be like, I imagine the scrying pool is like a pretty prominent area here in Ravenhall. Like it must be clearly something important. And Vago's simply just a merchant. He's nothing special. He looks around and he looks at the pool and just he's wondering what he's doing there. And as he looks into the pool, it kind of crystallizes. He remembers a time when back in Estalia where his wife was sick and literally nothing the regular healers could do was doing anything. She was just horrendously suffering. It was honestly pure luck for Vago that the Magus had happened to be in town, and he doesn't know if it was the pleading or if it was the bribery. Honestly, it could have been a combination of both. But the Magus took pity and using something that he had never seen before, channeling something that he had never seen before, watched the Magus heal his wife, and ever since then, he has sworn a pact to serve the Magus, and luckily, before the Magus had never required his services, but life's funny that way. So he's here at their beck and call.
All right. So Caspian, the ranger from the Mistwood, is crossing the bridge to Ravenholm, where he's been tasked to help guide the Magus from whatever danger he's facing, whatever danger the magic is facing. I would say he catches a glimpse of his face in the water, looking deadly serious. It's a face that has been scarred by time and battle, and it looks like he's got some deep-seated anguish that you can see in his eyes. And then some gravel falls into the water over the bridge, and ends up obscuring his face in the waves. And he glances back up and continues on toward the Raven Hall.
Cool. I wanted to ask, for Harp, was the Fierce modifier for real or a joke? So Meg and Wu, you gave Harp the Fierce modifier. Now we still haven't qualified if Harp is an actual hero or is like Harp the Fierce is just a cloying title. So I guess we'll work on that as we will. But I guess Meg, it's your turn. If you want to move to another location, you know where we are. Otherwise, if you feel like you're good here, you could move the Magus to the next location, and you just tell about our travel.
Yeah, I think we did all the places here, right? So
I mean, we've done the places, but you can, like, if you want to interact with the character, or if you want to do something else, like if you want to go to the Menagerie and look at, think about magic and stuff, you may also do that.
All right. I will proceed onward.
Okay. So, let me move that a little bit. So, yeah. So, if you would, could you describe the Magus and our travels to the Oak Hills? And the prompt is the ending of summer.
So the Magus is whatever I say it is at this point. So.
I mean, I would say, unless somebody has a very strong feeling about the Magus, I think we could collaborate a bit here right before, like right now, and we go from there. Does anybody have an opinion? Man, woman, or non-binary, or
Killer whale.
Killer whale?
Flying. A killer whale. I mean, I suppose that's also an option. I just don't know how we're traveling from town to town with a killer whale.
She just tries to insert a killer whale into everything.
It happens.
What if the Magus is just a pile of bones? It's long dead.
It's a sentient pile of bones. Like it. No. I did kind of imply that the Magus did heal my wife. So
Maybe, at one point, maybe the Magus has died and nobody is aware of it, except for.
I mean, well, again, the prompt is that the Magus is dying. So remember, it's magic is dying and the Magus is dying with it.
So maybe like it's like a pile of bones inside of a cloak, right? Like they're dying, held together by magic alone.
Yeah, so I guess that'd be like a very decrepit person, but like decrepit old or decrepit like young, like a cancer patient, like young, like but like bag, skin and bones. Or do you want to go like when I was thinking the Magus, I was actually kind of thinking like the Avatar. So I was thinking like a bald woman with like a arrow on her head.
Yang Chen?
That's the one.
The Air Avatar?
So I don't know. What do you guys think?
They're fun.
Sorry, what were you saying?
I think the Magus is like a lady in her late 30s.
Sure.
Who, it seems like she's wearing a fancy like jewel or whatever that's kind of keeping her looking fresh.
So like Melisandre from Game of Thrones?
The glamour? Yeah.
Hey, that was my totally unique idea that
Hey, perfectly fine. Or Galadriel, I guess, yeah. Yeah, all right.
Galadriel just looks like that. You take that back.
Yeah. Okay, yeah, Meg. So I guess because we kind of didn't explain it, if you could just do a small vignette of us meeting up with the Magus and traveling to the Oak Hills, and it's the ending of summer.
Okay. Well, when everyone's done doing their things at the
Raven Hall,
getting ready. Everyone meets in the Rose Gardens, where Piccolo is just there doing a gear check and preparing. And the Magus just says, our journey will be a difficult one, but I know I've got the best of the best, the world's brightest with me. Onward to the Oak Hills.
Okay.
I don't know what I'm saying.
Does she like pack bags or anything? Is she like hands on with like the preparation, or is she like, she's like, yeah, you guys do it?
Yeah.
You get the impression that she's prepared, but she doesn't really seem like she's carrying anything.
Well.
I guess I should have asked, and I guess we all should have developed this a little bit. What is Piccolo the apprentice of? Is he the apprentice of the Magus or the apprentice of like the Raven Hall something or other?
Well, let's say the apprentice of the Magus.
Okay, so I guess this is an important journey for you, right? So could you do you know magic? I don't know.
I mean, I am like trying really hard to know magic. I'm like copying down all the spells. I'm like reading all the books, but I've never gotten a single spell to work. Okay. But I like to give people the impression that I do.
Okay. The last thing is
Harp is impressed by anytime he's seen you so far, just trying something out. Yeah, we're gonna save magic. I believe in it.
Yeah, Vago is very unsure what's happening. I mean, he knows what the mission's about, but he doesn't know where the what's the destination here. All right.
So do I have to pick a spot in the Oak Hills?
No. You have moved the Magus to the Oak Hills. So then, who was next? Was that was Wu, I believe? So Harp, can you pick a location? And if you have, it cut off a little bit, but if you have a problem reading it, just let me know.
Okay. Maybe.
So pick a location, pick your thing.
Okay. We're gonna go to. The Harper's Road. It's appropriate. My name is Harp. So as we, traveling through the Oak Hills, it's starting to get cooler at night, but the days are still warm. Harp has kind of taken on the same affect that the Magus has. Being so close to someone so important to the world has made him want to emulate what she's doing. So he's also stopped carrying his bags. We've had some hangers-on, people from Ravenhall that have come with us. Other people were just traveling along the same road, going to Oak Hills for totally unrelated reasons, right? And some of those people, since again Harp has been trying to be a little more hands-off, trying to detach from the world a little bit, the same way the Magus has, right? Has started giving away his possessions. He came along originally with like a whole wagon full of suitcases, but now he's only down to 2. But it's definitely not the bandits that took them away. It was the fellow companions that we had along with us that have decided to go a different path now with many of his bags. So,
of course. Okay. And just because I can see it on the map, and I guess you can too. So we are heading to Barleytown next, actually. And you, the hero of Barleytown, clearly know Barleytown. How do you feel about that?
Harp is excited to return home. He hasn't been away for long, right? The Magus has put out her call for heroes and adventurers and saviors of magic. Probably not that long ago. So he's kind of looking for something to make a short trip, kind of like still very heroic. Right? Accomplish some deed before I return home after such a short time.
Okay. I like it. Okay, I believe I'm next. So Vago, it is. We've been traveling for some time now, and again, summer has been ending. The nights and the early mornings are a little bit cooler than one would expect sometimes, but we are prepared for the most part. I imagine Vago's never seen the Magus ever cold or hot. Like, I imagine the Magus is always like cool, calm, collected, a little aloof. But in the mornings, again, Vago is a merchant. He spends his life working, and he just doesn't feel right without inventorying something. So his morning ritual, and it's incredibly annoying to everybody in the camp, I would imagine, but he inventories everybody's items. Like, so he has inventoried all of his possessions, like all the communal camping equipment. Like, he has tried to inventory, make a list of Harp's stuff, but Harp keeps donating them, if you would. So it's impossible to keep a running stock. Caspian, do you have stuff? I don't know. I didn't ask. Are you packing well, packing lightly? You're a ranger, of course.
I think with as a ranger, I've been able to, I would have supplies with me. I've learned to live off the land, so I don't need to carry many things with me. I just have some basic essentials. I would assume I would have maybe some weapons with me, possibly a bow, maybe a short sword as well, and just a pack of personal belongings, and that's it.
Sure. Would you let, if Vago was, counting everything up, would you let Vago, look at your stuff?
I think that I would rather...
not your close possessions, but your weapons and stuff.
Sure. I wouldn't mind that, but I would not let him empty out my bag or anything like that. But I would let him take inventory of the things that are visible on me.
Sure. Okay. And Piccolo? I imagine are you carrying a lot of stuff? Are you carrying all of the remnants of magic and shit, everything an apprentice to the Magus would have?
Yeah, tons of unnecessarily heavy reference books. I'm like carting like a library cart with me. It's kind of obnoxious.
Like 80% of the wagon that we have is like just random magic bullshit. Yeah.
And like components and
Yeah. I like it. Okay, yeah. So he try, like he's not super pushy, but like it's almost a compulsion where he needs to inventory something, so he tries to inventory everything. He's like, "Oh, we're running a little bit ahead on our rations. Maybe we need to have smaller meals." And things like that. And hopefully like it gives him kind of comfort because he's out of his element right now.
Every time Vago comes by Harp, Harp gives him another suitcase full of things. So.
You keep trying to give your possessions away, and Vago's like, no, I just want to see it. I don't actually want to.
Here you go. It's for you, sir. Enjoy it.
Interesting. Okay, Jack.
So I just pick whatever's left on the.
You don't have to pick whatever's left. Like, just know that, like, right now, Harp is currently, doing stuff on the Harper's Road. I'm currently, my scenario is at dawn doing my morning ritual. It does help if you guys go around doing the other locations, but if you want to do something together, that's perfectly fine.
What does it mean, the plus signs with those attributes?
Okay.
For making camp.
So your main thing there is you are going to tell a little vignette about making camp, and then you get to with the help of another character, you get to give one of those attributes to one of the other characters. So so earlier, Meg was in the Rose Gardens. If you can see it on the screen, the Rose Gardens, and she gave the attribute Fierce to Harp. So Harp is now Harp the hero of Harp the Fierce, the hero of Barleytown. So you would go there and then you'd give one of us an attribute.
Okay.
So I mean, again, the main again, you're trying to make a little story. So your main point of that story is the making the camp, but maybe one of us comes on by and you note something about us, or you have a conversation with us.
Okay. So maybe I will, as we're making camp, I will offer to to maybe go out and maybe procure us some wild game to maybe make dinner with. I will ask if any of the party members would like to join me on a short hunting trip as we're making camp. Would any of you be interested in joining me?
Yeah, sure. Vago, I imagine, has the bare basics of hunting. I imagine down.
Okay, so I'll ask. I mean, I think I would ask your experience. Have you hunted before? Have you ever what would be your were you mainly, would you trap things? Can you handle a bow and arrow?
It's been many years, or it's been many moons since I've hunted for myself. Living the merchant life, it is easier to have people do things for you. But when I was, younger, things were not so easy to come by, and trapping was generally the easiest option for us. I was never the fastest or the strongest.
I see. Well, all you have to do is stick close with me, stay as silent as you can, and I'll show you how to hunt, as we do out in the Mistwood.
I'll leave it to you.
Wait, do we need dice at all for this?
Not for this. This is I mean, this is not much of a vignette, but what would you make of I guess in this situation, Vago? Would any of these modifiers work for him?
I mean, I guess I don't know if he'd be particularly kind or cunning, knowing just yet how things were going. But I know that you did mention that you had come up from rougher beginnings.
Yeah.
Are you dressed lavishly for a merchant, or would you say pretty more modestly?
I'm going to say that I'm not like ostentatious with my wealth, or like, but I'm clearly I'm a softer man. I'm definitely not as rugged as you are, or as Harp is. Hell, I might not be as rugged as Piccolo is, honestly. But I imagine that like I'm not. I'm not like an idiot. Like I'm not wearing my finest silks here.
Sure. Okay. So maybe I'll say like as we were hunting, we maybe had you had like not been as quiet as I had wanted you to be, and maybe chased off some of the larger, maybe like a large like deer or elk that we had encountered. But we were able to secure some smaller game, like maybe a rabbits that I had set up into traps earlier.
Sure.
And I guess maybe I would attribute the wealth from my perspective, maybe the wealthy attribute to you, just because I don't know much about you, and I know that you weren't particularly useful in helping me hunt.
That's fine. Though kind of the whole wealth has kind of ruined my hunting abilities. I'm no longer as spry as I should have been.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So that makes me Vago the Wealthy, the Merchant of Estalia. Okay, perfect. Okay, Piccolo.
I guess I'll be by firelight, after eating a very tough, gamey rabbit feast for dinner.
Sure.
Maybe not feeling so great about it. I'll sit by the fire, and I'll read through some of my magic books and just kind of immerse myself in the stories of powerful mages that used to basically, dominate these realms with their, I guess, fame and glory. And I'll go to sleep, with a smile on my face, thinking about how I'm part of rekindling some magic.
I like it. Yeah. I guess my question is: so is Ravenhall home to you, or did you go there to become an apprentice, or I guess is it home or is it not,
Yeah,
or
let's
did it
say
become home?
that Ravenhall is like where I've been doing my apprenticeship, but it's not really the place that I was, born per se.
Hmm.
But it's what I consider home now, central to my identity.
Sure. Okay. All right. Woo. Or sorry, Harp.
Harp!
Would you like another scene with Harp, or would you like to move the Magus?
I think Harp is going to lead us on into Barleytown. Yeah.
Okay. So, using this is from a little vignette about the Magus.
Yeah.
So you're traveling from the Oak Hills to Barleytown, and the story prompt is the hospitality of the Barley Lord.
Okay. So the Magus has I think she seems like a fancy lady. So she hasn't, at least recently, has been living more comfortably, right? But the trip through the Oak Hills were harder than she thought, right? But with these companions, she's never felt unsafe, and she's felt that this is still a good journey. That we were making our way through the wilderness just fine, right, together.
Sure.
The whole time Harp has been talking up the Barley Lord, and fortunately, he somehow, throughout all his boasting and his bloviating, still managed to undersell the hospitality of the Barley Lord. The Barley Lord welcomes us into town, greeting Harp almost as if a second son, brings in the entire party, treats them as family, treats them as nobility, and holds a feast that night. Even when, probably we'd rather be resting from a long day's journey, holds a grand feast in the hall with the entirety of the townsfolk, as many of the townsfolk as he could fit in his castle.
Okay.
Yeah, and then offers us lodging and places to stay. So.
Okay. Just wanted to touch on, what do you think? So the Magus, while you're still the character, clearly understands that she is dying, and that magic is dying. Does she do anything about that? Like, is she like still trying to do magic, or is she,
So she understands, right? Like that the importance of this journey, right? That this needs to be. This is probably she's done many great things and throughout her long life, but she understands that this is the most important thing she will ever do, right? And perhaps like throughout the Oak Hills, she was a little bit like purposeful, more more focused on how we have to do this task at hand. But upon entering Barleytown and seeing the hospitality and the celebrations of the people, recognize also that she has to live in the moment a bit. Has to, The journey is almost at its end, yet still we have to complete the journey.
Yeah, a little bit of carpe diem in the between, right? Cool. Hey, so the Caspian, you'll go first. We are in Barleytown in the incredibly hospitable hands of the Barley Lord. Pick a location.
All right. Let's see. So I can pick what companions I bring to any location, or are there with me at a certain location.
So yes and no. We could all be in a location, of course. And you can make certain decisions, but when it comes down to it, if it's something that like alters or something that requires if you think it needs something, if it's something that probably needs input from one of us, just ask us, and we'll combine our we'll add to your story,
Mm-hmm.
But of course, if we are all if we're all chilling at the Inn of the Axe and the Fiddle, I imagine you can say, Harp's dancing with somebody, or Piccolo is in the corner furiously writing down something, or I don't know, but so we can be in your vignettes, but if you want us to do something, you'll probably have to ask us.
All right. Does anybody else would like to go while I think of what I'm going to do? Is that a possibility?
Yeah, sure, why not? Good.
I could go ahead of you if you want.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that'd be great.
So I'm at the old abbey, just getting in. I'm not a religious person, but I always find religion fascinating, so I like to go to the abbey to just kind of take in the scenery. As I'm there, I noticed a familiar face. I'll say Harp is also there. Maybe looking a little tired out from all of the celebration. Just,
A little worse for wear.
Yeah. I go up to, or Piccolo goes up to Harp and just says, it's quite amazing, the reception you're getting here. I've heard your stories, read about you for years, so it's been an honor to travel by your side.
Harp will, graciously, thank you. I have to confess here that, though I feel, happy to be praised by all these people and be hailed a hero of my hometown, sometimes I worry that the things I did to earn that praise were perhaps mean or too cruel. I'm glad you found this place, though. This is one of the few places that I come to reflect.
I guess I have my own confessions to make as well, since we're in a spiritual place. I've always wanted for myself to have what you have, the fame and the notoriety of being a hero, but sometimes I wonder if I'll never achieve anything those means.
Maybe it's easy to say as someone that has such fame, but it is not all that it is cracked up to be. Sometimes I wish to go back to a life where I didn't have to worry about what people would say or how people felt about me. It is a bit of a curse, as well as being a blessing.
Well, I guess that's some food for thought. All right. We got some confessions at the Abbey.
Nice. I realized I shouldn't have made Jack go first. I forgot that it was my turn. So I guess I'll go. I mean, I am Vado the merchant, and I am going to the farmer's market. Yeah, so I think the scene with Caspian where I was trying to be cool and trying to hunt, and I think the fact that I screwed things up for Caspian really affected me. Just the idea that like maybe I'm not as capable as I thought. Maybe all I am good at is business and fleecing people out of their money. So I mean, the farmers market is mostly for food, and obviously, I make my deals and I try and I barter for some fresh food and some rations. Obviously keeping us topped off because God knows what's going to happen next. But I start making inquiries over weapons, something that maybe I can protect others with, and if I need to protect myself. I'm not getting quite the response I'm looking for, but I'm going to be a little persistent about it. And I think I'll stop with that sentence. Okay. Jack, are you around or what's up?
I'm ready.
All right.
All right,
Jack.
Caspian is standing at the top of Swine Hill, looking out at the battle that was fought long ago here on Swine Hill. Some of the remnants of the battle can still be seen. Maybe weapons of war scattered about, stuck in parts of the ground, various parts of the landscape affected by battle in the past. And I think that he sees one of his companions walking by, potentially, maybe on their way home from the Abbey, and he sees Piccolo approaching. And Caspian is sitting up. Caspian had been sitting in kind of deep contemplation, and he asked Piccolo, how did you become the apprentice of the Magus? Why did you want to become the apprentice?
Well, my whole life I've been obsessed with magic, and as far as I know, the Magus is the only legitimate magic user still at least openly practices magic. So I just made myself indispensable to her. I learned everything about her comings and goings. I followed her steps closely and try to anticipate her needs.
Like the world's best intern. Yeah.
You're her bag man. Yeah.
Learned how to use the fax machine.
Well, I must admit, I've been torn on this journey. I have a complicated past involving magic, and sometimes I wonder if the world would not be a better place if it were to disappear from this world. Though I know magic is capable of wondrous things, it also can cause much heartache for people if used in the wrong hands. Have you ever thought on this, Piccolo?
Well, I don't think that the magic in itself is good or bad. I believe it's the wielder of the magic. I'm like thinking of an old timey way to say guns don't kill people. People kill people.
Oh my god! All right, give everybody
Not
everybody
the magic.
This phrase, please
allow
tell
everybody
me.
to use unlicensed magic. Then I see what you're saying, Piccolo, but I still think that there could be some dangers if magic were to persist in this world. But I will keep an open mind as we continue in our journey.
Well,
I think
we
that's a
know
good. Oh, go
the
ahead.
Magus. I was gonna say we know that the Magus has brought, you know, wealth and prosperity, and so it must be, crucially important that we support her in this mission.
If you say so. I'm just a simple guide.
I feel like Piccolo will remember that.
Okay, that's a good spot.
Yeah, I like it. All right, harp.
Harp is so after talking with Piccolo and the old abbey, he's going to make his way over to the Inn of the Axe and Fiddle. And on his way there, he's going to run into Vago, getting out of the farmer's market, haggling and making some deals. Say, Vago, come with me. Let's have a drink.
Yeah, I would imagine Vago has had a kind of a serious expression, but he sees you and he's like, "No, there's no reason to turn down." Yeah, of course, let's go.
All right. So when we're at the inn, again, the first round of drinks was on Harp, and then the next 10 were given to him and Vago, since you're there, being the hero. And while we're getting how does Vago drink? Is Vago a smart drinker or a because Harp is going to keep downing these. He's home. He's among his people, and he's going to keep putting one in front of you whenever he sees you don't have one in front of you.
I think that I think Vago is smart when he needs to be, but when in this situation where he's a stranger to strange land, he's just going to follow your lead, which is incredibly stupid, but he's doing it anyway.
Sweet,
and
perfect. Because
yeah.
Well, I was gonna say like the song of our people here is going to be sung. They call them the booming voices of Barleytown because it is not just a song; it is also a competition to see who could be the loudest at singing the song. So throughout the course of the night, somebody will ring the bell in the inn, and that's a cue for all of us to start singing as loudly as we can. The fiercest competitor is usually the winner, and that is how Harp got his notoriety at first. That's not because of his prowess on the battlefield, but because of the loudness of his voice.
That's awesome. All right.
I was waiting for the song.
I don't. I already forgot the name. What did I call it?
You didn't give it a name. You just said the song of your people.
The booming voices of Barleytown. Yeah. The booming voices of
Barleytown.
It's a lot of agricultural terms in it. Yeah.
Right. Then I guess it's back
It just
to
gets
me.
louder and louder. This is terrible.
Okay. Yeah, so we're getting drunk at the Inn of the Axe and Fiddle, and I'm my voice is going hoarse, just trying to keep up with Harp, who's something that I was wondering. Vago is wondering, is this a joke? Because his voice is definitely not like a harp at all. But you know,
It's more like a broken
Vago.
trumpet.
Yeah, Vago is being Vago is bidding drinks. People are talking to him. He's having a great time. And he meets a girl named Matilda, and things are going well, and she invites him back to her farm, and he's not under, like, again, he's a little inebriated, and this is this is his time to shine. He heads over there, and she thinks, she noticed that he was kind of in the dumps, kind of a little gloomy, and they flirt a bit, and clearly things are getting a little bit more serious, and Vago kind of has a crisis of faith. Like, part of him wants to stay committed, to his wife, who, even though it's 1,000 miles away, but part of him also, wants to get laid. So he's having trouble. I think in the end, he honestly, he doesn't make a decision. He's so drunk he falls asleep on his hay bale, and this shame he'll wake up with what a hell of a headache and a lot of shame, and he won't talk about what happened here to anyone else.
What does Matilda do?
I think Matilda's a farmhand, and I think what she thinks Vago needed was to get laid, but not happening.
She'd be deeply offended, is what I'm saying.
Yes.
Does Matilda's father chase Vago off the farm?
In the morning, yes. First thing in the morning with a pitchfork. It's very classic. Huh? Jack?
Oh man, what's left?
The Oak Island, or if you're ready, we can also move.
If I choose to move, I have to control the Magus. Does that help? But I don't know what to do with her. What's? Am I not where we're not supposed to see what's the next things coming up?
No, I mean, I'll tell you right now. So again, if this is a scroll, this would be easier to see. There's a branching pattern here. There is there is the Mistwoods or the Stormguard Mountains.
Well, the Mistwoods are my hometown.
Sure, it's up to you. So you would take control of the Magus. You would take control of everybody basically, and our travels to the next location. Tell us what's going on, what's how the Magus is doing, maybe how we're doing as a group, that sort of thing.
Shoot, I got nothing right now.
If you want to go back to Barleytown, you can be Barleytown, and then one of us can also move.
Barleytown. All right, let me see.
And again, you don't have. You can do any of the other ones again if you want to. There's no pressure.
All right.
The only pressure is that you have to have fun.
Oh no! It's the biggest pressure of all.
Don't think about it.
I'm drawing a blank right now.
Okay, well, we can move on.
Can I pass my turn again? I'm sorry.
Yeah, just hold on. That's fine. Harp or Piccolo, is there anything else you want to do in Barleytown, or do you want to move?
Kind of move.
Okay. Okay. Maybe I guess I'll move since you guys have already moved.
Sure. Yeah.
Hmm.
I saw Estalia there.
Yeah, I know. But
It's
how to
coming.
get there? Yeah. Yeah, I think that's. I think it's fair. So, despite the hospitality and just the overall just sweet vibes of Barleytown, I think the Magus understands that we need to keep moving. We need to get to Umbra before it's over. And the question, and I don't, did we discuss if we're trying to restart magic or if we're trying to give magic a burial, basically?
We have
Okay,
not talked about it.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. So I guess I'll keep it vague for a little bit.
The Magus might not even know for sure, right? She just knows
Yeah.
that something is happening that calls her.
Yeah. Oh, I liked it. Okay.
Oh.
These years have passed, so many years, and every year has passed, and her abilities get weaker and weaker, and it takes more and more effort just to do what she was able to do. Even in Barleytown, where there's really no need for magic, she was feeling the strain of what feels like the end. And as she kind of, she's not really demanding, but when it's time to go, it's time to go, and she expects everybody to follow along. And I imagine Piccolo is there the second she needs him, or them. I'm not sure what Piccolo's gender is. And I imagine the same for pretty much everybody. I don't know how Harp is doing. Is Harp pretty attentive?
A little bit, but not. He's learning to be a little more helpful.
Mm-hmm.
He's used to being attended on instead of the other way around. So.
Sure. So, mostly attentive group and the hero of Barleytown. We travel eastward, and luckily we have a ranger of the Mistwood with us. Because as we enter the Mistwood, the name kind of gives you exactly the problem here. There is almost constantly a thick layer of fog in the mist, where if you are not from here, and if you're not accustomed to the location, you will die because you will become so lost you have no idea what's going on. So basically, we rely almost entirely on Caspian to get us through the Mistwood. I imagine Caspian assumes this is what he was here for, or is Caspian is he cool with being the guide here, or does he kind of feel like begrudging?
No, he feels like this is his favored terrain here in the Mistwood.
Sure.
And he is happy to be able to lead his party through the Mistwood as best as he can. He knows that the daytime is really the only option because the mists grow too heavy anywhere towards dusk, and so they have to retire or set up camp early in the evening before it starts getting dark, or they'll lose sight of each other even in the heavy mists.
Okay. Yeah, and so it's a few days journey into the Mistwood, and it shouldn't take so long, but it's slowing us down because of the mist in general, and I guess we'll go from there. Okay. Yeah, basically, we are in the Mistwood, and if one of you guys would like to start, I guess.
I can go, I guess, if no one wants to.
Sure.
All right. Meeny, miny, mo, I guess. So camping. I am at the campsite. I'm trying to document all these strange places that we've been to, but unfortunately, I've severely underestimated how much ink I would go through on this trip, and my ink has run out. I desperately ask Caspian if he can try to forage in the woods and obtain some berries for me so I can make some ink. Otherwise, I'm worried that there will be no documentation of the adventure.
Mm.
Well, there are plenty of berries in the forest. You have to have a keen eye to know the difference between the ones that are edible and not edible. All of those berries don't matter if you're just using them for ink. But please, after I collect these for you, don't snack on them while you're using them for ink. And he will agree, and he'll disappear for a short time and come back with a bunch of auspicious-looking, deep purple berries.
Do you want to roll for the foraging thing? There's a
Yeah,
prompt.
we can do it.
Yeah.
So,
What?
are you using this as part of her story, or are you doing your own thing? Because there is a foraging session.
Trying to set that up for you.
Oh yeah, sure, okay. So I'll go ahead and teach Piccolo or anybody that wants to watch. I'll bring back of various types of berries. I'll point out the deepest, purplest berries are the most surefire way to kill an enemy or yourself if you so choose or are so inclined.
Sometimes we
Roll a
are our
d6.
own worst enemies.
Mm-hmm. And the lighter, bluer berries, bluer and pink berries, those are the ones that are safe to eat. So I'll set aside the berries specifically used for ink, and the berries that we can use to eat as we go through.
Okay, and roll a d6.
3.
Okay, so you are teaching us about the bounty of the forest, and you did that well. Is there anything more? I guess this is kind of a good roll for you.
I'll just say that I come back with plenty of edible berries for us to use as we go through the Mistwood.
Okay.
All right.
Snackability berries.
That's it. That's the one.
Hmm.
I'll go. So one of these nights, again, at night, we have to stop, right? So the journey through the Mistwoods is slow. So by moonlight, so here, it kind of since it's so misty, we can't actually see the moon, right? It's just kind of a amorphous glow in the sky. It's almost as if like an edgeless cloud just glows up above us, right? And through that misty kind of haze, there's a line of trees out beyond, up on the ridge of a hill. And then, the whole party is here. We're all camped up, and I point out and say, "Look, it's us." Because there are 5 main figures there. You see one tree over there hunched over. It looks like it's carrying a bunch of books and things, right? If you squint a little bit, you see another figure over there that looks like it's got its hands kind of splayed out, like it's trying to keep track of everything in the forest. You have another one over there that is hunting. It's holding its curved bow. Trying to trying to find hunt for game. We have one that's so straight and tall over there, and just magnificent looking. Just a beautiful, beautiful tree out there. And then finally, greater, taller than all of them, the strongest of them all is one. Almost like specially, almost as if like a piece of the mist has cleared out and the moonlight is beaming straight onto it. One strong-looking tree, one filled with purpose, a tree that is clearly fulfilling its destiny.
Okay. So teammates here, Piccolo, Caspian, and I guess Avago. Do you see what the hell Harp is talking about? Are you just humoring him, or you're like, sure? Or do you actually kind of see what you think he sees?
I would say that, like, at this point, we've eaten plenty of the edibles that our ranger friend brought back to us from the woods. And I'm definitely feeling this tree vibe. Trees are us, man.
Oh, we are one with nature, man. That tree looks like me. Uh, yeah. Okay, I'm up for it. All right. I guess Vago. Actually, Caspian, are you one of many rangers? Are you the last ranger? Is it a dwindling group? Is it a flourishing group? What would you say?
I would say there are other rangers of the Mistwood. I'm not the only one, but they're not plentiful. They're less these days than there ever were before.
Okay. And do you think we would have met some by now?
It's very possible. The Rangers of the Mistwood would meet from time to time to share information about goings on in the Mistwood, like sharing information on what game trails are more populated. So yeah, there's a chance that we might have met another ranger.
No. Yeah, so I think I'll do that. So as we travel through the Mistwood, we reach a location that I imagine Caspian is quite aware of, the location of the Trial of the Rangers. Now I'm thinking something kind of witchery here, like when they talk about the Trial of the Grasses. I imagine it's a training ground for new rangers, like a part obstacle course, part like survival, like fight off a beast sort of thing. And I think when I look at it, as we pass by, I don't think it's been used in years. Like things look a little rusty, things look a little unused. I imagine like we walk by as we travel by. There's like an incredibly old, grizzled man, and I imagine Caspian probably is deferential to them, but like clearly this guy's not seen much work in decades. When Vaga tries to commence small talk with him, Vaga would be like, it would say to them like, I imagine you've been here many years. Has the mist always been like this? And I'm going to say, the grizzled old ranger is like, I've seen many things, and one thing I have not seen is the mist is getting thicker. It was never this thick before. Decades ago, you could even a layperson could travel these woods. Now it takes our most skilled rangers to even not go mad, and lost, just traveling a few kilometers. I don't know what it is. I don't know why, but the mist is changing, and it's not changing for the better. Yeah. Okay.
Like it.
All right. So, Jack, my buddy, can you, since you're so far the only one who has to take it the Magus, can you take us and the Magus from the Mistwood to the Hall of the Woods and the hospitality of the Grey Rangers? I'm guessing now that you're part of the Grey Rangers, maybe.
Sure. As the Magus. Okay. I did want to do one more quick thing with I was thinking of in the Mistwoods.
Absolutely, go ahead.
Before I take us to the Hall of the Woods. So just going off the back of your last one, I would say on our way out of the Mistwoods, Caspian will let the rest of the group know that we're nearing, on the trail of the Rangers, we're nearing the exit of the Mistwoods. I would caution everyone to stay close to each other, stay within sight of each other, because the mist is heaviest towards the exit of the wood. One thing I will caution everyone is that sometimes the mists grow heavy in this part, and they can also play tricks on the mind. as you traverse through some of the heaviest mists. Some have said that they have seen memories from their past. Other illusions will appear before them in the mists, things that can't really be explained. People have known to go lost chasing after things that they think they can see through the mists. And I just want to warn everyone. I'm also, Caspian would monitor the other group members to make sure that they're all heeding his words. And I guess I'm just wondering if any of you see anything of note in the mists as we go through that might come up in your minds, that might be distracting enough to stray, to maybe cause someone to stray from the path.
I don't know. I didn't think about it that far. No, I think Vago is. I mean, he's got. I think he's got survival on the mind. I think he's not. This is not his. He is not comfortable. He is just. He is kind of anchored to the Magus at this point.
Okay.
So I don't know what the other.
I'll say Piccolo. Maybe some of the words that you had spoken earlier are starting to resonate, because what Piccolo sees looks like a lot like the Magus, but kind of a darker figure, kind of a creepier figure, kind of wandering up ahead.
Cool.
Interesting.
All right.
Then you want to take us to the Hall of the Woods?
Yeah. So the Magus listens to Caspian's advice and kind of steals her resolve to make it through the rest of the way of the Mistwood, even though it's not easy. It's difficult in her weakened state. We're able to make our way out of the Mistwood into the Hall of the Woods, where we come upon a medium-sized encampment with where a few scattered individuals are hanging around that introduce themselves as the Grey Rangers, and they greet us and they welcome us, our party, to stay with them in their kind of modest tents and housing that they have here. And yeah, we definitely were seeking some refuge after the difficult journey through the end of the Mistwood. So I think it would be a welcome place to get some rest.
Sure. So they're pretty welcoming then, you'd say?
Yes.
And then would you say the Grey Rangers are the same as the Rangers you're part of, or are they like a separate sect?
I would say it's the same.
Okay. All right. Piccolo or Harp?
I guess one day when I'm out exploring the woods, even though we've been reminded that this is not a very safe place, but I still go out to explore and take notes in my notebook. I come across a circle of ancients, which I guess this is open for interpretation. I'll just say there are some larger looking humanoid creatures that are, in a circle around a campfire. And I'm very disturbed to see that they are clipping each other's toenails.
Okay.
Piccolo runs back home in horror.
Yeah, that is a disturbing ritual, yeah. Okay. Yeah, I guess. I think Vago will try to resalvage his honor, and he'll go on the hunting grounds again. I assume, Caspian, would you also go with him, you think? I don't hear Jack anymore.
Could you repeat that?
if Vago is going to go to the hunting grounds, would you join him?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah. So, okay. Okay. We approach the hunting grounds, and again, Vago is a little bit like he's a little too gung ho for the entire mission. Really, he has been trying to take Caspian's approach. He has been watching how to be unseen, unheard, and Caspian, do you use a bow and arrow also?
Yes.
Okay, so I think he's also been trying to like learn the bow and arrow too. And with the four, we're hunting in these like kind of in the woods in this kind of weird clearing, but like Vago wasn't prepared, and he there's a pretty decent sized deer in the woods, and he takes a shot, and he's not quite true center. He kind of he gets a good hit, but like it's a bad cut. And he watches as this poor deer thrashes to death, just bleeding profusely from the neck. And Vago is mortified. He's like, oh God. He wants to go and like slit its throat or something to end its pain, but like he's afraid to get hurt by a large thrashing beast. Caspian, would you say something, or are you just kind of like accepting the fact that he got at least hit the deer?
Yeah, I think that he would commend him on being able to strike the deer in the first place, and he'll say, I mean, well struck. It seems like you have taken this seriously. It shows your work, though you have some work left to do, and he'll show him how to swiftly end the life of the deer, and he'll take his short sword out and sever like an artery or a important vein on his neck swiftly.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Okay. And Vago will take the lesson to heart. Right. Harp?
Yeah. So Harp is going to... Yeah, since it's a little more open here, it's nice to be away from the mists, right? Mm-hmm. He's going to work his way down to the Spirit Lake, kind of, just nice to be some time apart from the main party for a little bit here.
Sure.
And while he's there, he'll kind of greet every ranger that comes down this way. Like, hello. Like everybody. He's always wanting to talk to people.
Sure.
And one of the things that he kind of, the rangers that are here are of varying ages, a little bit on the older side.
Yeah.
But it takes a while. But eventually, at first they're a little bit cautious of Harp, and then over time, though, they take more of a become more conversational, a little bit more loose. And Harp learned that not all the rangers kind of agree with what we're doing. That magic, the rangers are more practical people. They're generally more. They live off the land. They live off of what's there, and they don't really, and especially the least, I should say, the more magic-hating ones recognize that or believe that magic is not our place. Like that, we should adapt to the world and not try to make the world adapt to us. So what the Rangers teach me teach Harp is that that magic maybe should not be held up on a pedestal, but maybe it shouldn't be saved.
And how do you? I guess is Harp on board with that? Is Harp like? Obviously you thought the slightly better than sleight of hand was amazing. So like, how is Harp taking that?
Harp thinks this is nonsense. Yeah, Harp thinks that no, we must. the Magus is such a good person, is so incredible that that magic must be saved. Magic is too important to not be saved, and that these
Sure.
Rangers are just being scared. They're just they're just trying to hide away from the wonder of the world.
Interesting. Okay. All right, Caspian?
Okay, so I'll take whoever would like to go to the Wild Altar and bringing back our fresh kill.
I guess Vago would be there because we just killed it, right? So
Yeah, and if Piccolo or if anybody else wants to be there too, if Harp wants to be there as well, Caspian will just he'll probably have maybe prepared the deer and taken what meat that can be used for food and set that aside. But I think he would take the antlers of the deer that we killed. He'll place it on a forested altar that's out here in the woods, just to show the group, like this is that we show our thanks. It's a tradition of the Ranger to acknowledge that the woods provides for us. That the Ranger lifestyle is to live off the land and to take what is provided for us to use our skills to provide for our families, and we give thanks as well by just showing the appreciation for the natural way of the world. And there's like a little bit of an undertone that Harp had heard before that really Caspian like kind of goes along with, that like magic really has no place in this practical part of their world anyway.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So just to the story prompt, what's the fresh desire that you have now? That you're okay with letting go of magic, or it's just something else?
I think I don't know how fresh it is, but I think that Caspian still is just not quite convinced of the value of magic. He hasn't really seen any overwhelming evidence to convince him that magic is worth saving.
Okay, interesting. All right, Piccolo, do you want to move us, or do you want to do the hall or something, or what's up?
Let's move it along.
All right, so if you take the Magus, you're going from the Hall of the Woods to the Spirit River.
All right. Magus tells everybody, once everyone gets back from the altar, whatever, pack your things. It's time for us to go. Just very matter-of-factly, sets out on the road. Doesn't even wait for everybody to be ready. Just kind of starts taking off.
Sure.
Kind of in her mind, she's starting to sense that there's some discontent within the ranks. She's definitely chosen these people because she knows that they're each selected based on their skills and what will be needed to travel on this journey. But she's starting to feel like she's not feeling the loyalty. It's kind of weighing on her a little bit as they make their way towards the Spirit River.
So
What follows this?
Yeah, what follows it?
I guess the sneaking suspicion of discontent.
Hey,
Can I say something abstract like that?
yes, that's perfectly fine. Okie dokie. Okay. Okay. Yeah. So I imagine we're kind of, if not rowing, at least drifting down this river at a comfortable pace. Maybe not so misty right now, but like definitely an otherworldly feel to it. Vago is drifting, you know, not only physically but also a little bit falling asleep. And he thinks about his parents, who were honestly just poor farmers, and he thinks uh, what they would think about if they'd known their son not only would become a wealthy merchant, but also a like literally trying to, if not save, at least end magic. I think that would be beyond him, and I think the memory he has is just simply uh, it's not a good one. He thinks of his parents, and he thinks of a time that his father got drunk and basically did the old "you'll never amount to anything," and he's like, "I'll show you, Dad," and he did. He's like, "Holy shit! I am not only not only am I a success, but I'm engaging in this fucking suicide mission with arguably the most important person in the world right now." And some, extras, but it's a. I mean, it's all in all, it's kind of weirdly, even though it's a memory of parental abuse. It's technically a happy dream as he drifts on. Odds are on that.
Okay, I like it.
All right.
As we're
Any of you guys?
as we're sailing down, or we're floating down this river. In the tall grass surrounding the river banks, there is like a kind of a commotion, like Harp. It catches Harp's eye, and as he looks over, he recalls the shadowy figure that Piccolo mentioned in the wood in the Mistlands.
Sure.
And quickly calls their attention and say, "Hey, I saw him." Like he remembers that, or Harp remembers kind of ridiculing that. "Oh, you're just seeing things in the mist. Yeah, there's nothing else out here. It's just us trying to make our way out of these misty lands. There's no way there's some mysterious figure out here." This time, though, it's complete reversal. Harp definitely saw something, and this something was malevolent and dark and chilled him in a way that is unusual. You've never seen him actually be frightened by anything this whole time.
Do you think he would alert the rest of us, or do you think kind of
Oh yeah,
You know,
No, he and definitely at least Piccolo. He would have called Piccolo over and said, "I believe you now. Something is following us."
And how does Piccolo react to that?
Well, Piccolo's unsettled because, well, I thought
Hallucinated that?
I'd even come to terms with it, but now I'm quite concerned for our safety.
Okay. Piccolo or Caspian?
As we're floating down this river, Piccolo's going to try to, so by starlight,
Okay.
the boat go faster. So they're going to gather some components from a spell pouch, some sea glass, a fin of a fish. It's very smelly as soon as I open up the pack. You guys aren't sure how long I've been carrying around this fish fin in my pocket, but it does not smell nice. And I'm going to concentrate with all of my effort to try and control the current of the river to make us go faster.
Sure.
To my great regret, there is no obvious change.
Were you doing this just because you wanted to hurry, or is it more like you are kind of getting scared and spooked by what?
Getting
by
scared by the
yeah.
yeah.
Cool. Caspian?
All right. I think I'll have the Magus take us to. Is Estalia the option?
You don't want Caspian to have a scene in the Spirit River? It's fine.
Not, pretty much because I cannot think of anything to do on the Spirit River.
Yeah, so there are. Looks like there are two options. There's either the Mouth of the Deep or the Estalia, and I would recommend. I think the faster version is Estalia. It's already almost 11, so I would recommend going that way.
Okay. So the Magus can sense Piccolo, her understudy's desire to learn magic, and it pains her that she has not been able to really make any headway in learning magic despite her teachings. That between her growing weaker every day, and it also is a growing weight on her, the thought of her magic not being able to be passed on to anyone else and being lost to the world if they're not able to complete their journey. And so as they make their way through the Spirit River, they eventually come across the shores of Estalia, the hospitality of the Gilded Ones. The Gilded One.
So I imagine, like Barleytown had the hospitality of the Barley Lord. I imagine the Gilded One is whoever's in charge of Estalia.
Okay. The Magus knows that she should have a good reputation here with the leader of the city, the Gilded One. He has called on her aid in the past, and she is hopeful that they will have safe passage through Estalia and will be able to, resupply and be able to make their way through the rest of the journey here.
Sure. All right, so we're in Estalia, baby.
What's that symbol next to the Marketplace of Magic?
So, it means that generally, where'd it go? You have to, let me pull it up. I'll just read the rules. Come on. Where'd we go? All right, it symbolizes change. Before you end your turn, change or remove something from your note card. It can be your name, your title, or your trait. Then describe why your character thinks this is true. So, I mean, I guess you could argue that one of the things you might have to do is if you want something special in the Marketplace of Magic, you may need to give them your name or your title or something. Or maybe, like for Heart, maybe maybe this place scares you, and maybe maybe you're not as fierce as people imagine. So like you'd lose the fierce tag. So. So, Jack, what did you say the hospitality of the Gilded was like?
I would say they would be welcome to the Magus. I think that she has should have a good reputation with the Gilded One, the leader of the city. She's been called on to aid the city in the past with her magical knowledge, so should have a good reputation here.
Okay. I think at the very least, Estalia is clearly a much more defined city than Barleytown was. I think it just inherently, like, there is people who are trying to work on magic here as well. I think they're also, in general, like, what's the word, um, like just in general, it's just a little bit more up and coming. Like they're, this is a more of a metropolis. Okay, I think how has Piccolo been doing for the? I would say, like, just for the journey and just the concept that, like, their master is about to die, presumably.
Well, I haven't accepted that reality.
You're in full on denial.
I think there's something that we can maybe fix if we play our cards right on this journey.
Okay. I think Vago, trying to be as practical as he can, he asks Piccolo to, accompany him to the Starfall Academy. And I think he kind of gives. Because this is the Estalia is his, this is Vago's home turf, and he kind of gives Piccolo the tour of the land. Like it's clearly a very well-to-do academy, and like they have academics and all sorts of branches of science, and I imagine magic as well, and and I imagine a lot of like astronomy as well. And Vago's not trying to be overt, but he's like, he's trying to, he tries to tell Piccolo, well, when our journey is over, I could get a recommendation for you to come to the Starfall Academy as well, if you want to continue your studies. Maybe, maybe you could, pursue your magic here, or work with some of the finest academics of their time. Basically, he's like trying to find a way to not quite fix, but try to help you eventually recover when because because Vago's aware that the Magus is probably going to die at the end of this trip.
Well, I don't know that I'm changing the trajectory of my life goals or anything, but I am very excited to be in the library, so you have at least altered my mood.
All right, I'll take it. Okay. All right. Piccolo, Caspian, or Harp?
Harp is gonna go to the Badwater district and bring Caspian
Sure.
along.
Sure.
Because we're looking for, this is the first big town we've been to, and we're looking for. I think we're looking for support and supplies, and kind of looking for something to help us along our journey here, right?
Sure. I mean, presumably we haven't been with people in some time now. You've been in the woods with a bunch of grumpy old men.
Right, yeah. And they're pretty grumpy.
Yeah.
In the course of, both of us just kind of wandering around looking for, merchants and supplies, Harp's going to kind of ask directly, Caspian, do you think that, are we together on this journey to bring back magic, or do you think this is really the end of it?
When I heeded the call of the Magus, I wasn't sure at first why I would even want to go on this journey, but somewhere in the back of my mind it told me that I needed to see this out, and that I would be one of the few people to see the end of magic and to witness magic leave this world. And in my mind, all this time, that is what kept me going for whatever reason. So I think that this might be the last time that people of this age see magic.
Do you view it as the death of magic, and not? So you view it as a death, not as a rebirth.
I would say yes, that this might be a death.
I hope that you are wrong, but I understand how you would feel it that way.
So you're saying that Hart mostly believes it's kind of like a phoenix, like with the death of magic comes something more, or more maybe newer magic or something.
You don't call heroes to a funeral.
Interesting. I like that.
Well, I wouldn't call myself so cynical as to say that I'm not without some hope that there might be a greater purpose for this journey. So maybe something will come out of it that will surprise even me.
We shall see.
All right. Piccolo or Caspian? Anything else?
I guess I go to the Gilded District and I go into a rare bookstore. I'm very excited because I have purchased all of the rare books in my hometown hall. So this is the first time I've really had the opportunity to add to my collection. But unfortunately, I don't have any money. So I keep pulling things off the shelf frantically in moments of excitement, and then when I go up to the counter, I realize that I don't have enough, and this is embarrassing. And now I'm sad again.
Are
Okay.
any of the books that you thought were rare from your hometown actually just like super common here?
Yeah, everyone's got a copy of what's it called? The Da Vinci Code.
Like your most precious textbook is like some trash novel here. Yeah, that's amazing. I love it.
And Dan Brown can't escape fantasy world.
So what you're gonna pay? So so I guess the merchant comes in and sees you literally trying to almost abscond with a pile of books, and he is not a big fan of it. Yeah.
Woe is me.
Sorry, what was that? I
Is
didn't
that all
hear
of
you.
us now? Did we all do a thing?
No. Well, Caspian didn't, but I'm saying, what was your price that you paid?
Oh, I didn't buy anything. I didn't have any money, so.
Well,
It's
well,
what you
let's.
cannot afford. Yeah.
Oh no, yeah, I did the Gilded District. I was at the bookstore, not the Marketplace of Magic. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, you did the Gilded. Oh, okay. You didn't do the Marketplace
Yeah.
of Magic. Okay, so you went to the Gilded District. Okay. Hey, you didn't. You didn't ask Bongo for any help there. Okay, that's fine. Okay, Caspian. You had a couple options.
Caspian will make his way to the Nazad station. Caspian hasn't been to very many cities in this latter part of his life. But he has some memories of being in cities when in his younger days, in his early 20s. So he'll spend some time in Azad Station. He actually knows that he has a friend that ended up in Estalia from his younger days as a soldier before he became a ranger, before he dedicated his life in the Mistwoods. And he runs into an old companion of his, an old soldier buddy that he had fought with in the King's Army.
Okay.
As a young man. This individual the last time he had seen him, he had suffered grievous wounds in battle that had left him essentially as a cripple, and that was the last time that he had seen him. He had known that he had made his way to Estalia, and so Caspian is surprised to see this man standing strong and able at this Nazad station. So Caspian asks him what has been going on with his life. He's asks him how was he able to overcome his injuries, and it's revealed to Caspian that through the work of the Magus years ago, she had in one of her trips to the Estalia, the Gilded City, had actually taken a part to help cure this old soldier buddy of his, and they catch up, and Caspian learns that this man has had was able to have a family. He has 3 adult children now, and thanks to the mages, he was able to regain his livelihood and was able to start a family and have a happy life.
Excellent. And then have you ever maybe this is me, but did you ever mention you were in the King's Army before you were a ranger?
I had not mentioned that to anybody.
Okay. So this is just mostly like if like Vago was there, he'd just see you greeting an old friend. Like there's nothing particularly like.
Yes.
Okay. Alrighty. Cool. Okay. Interesting. So. Okay, so we are about we're about done with Estalia, and it's 11:06 or 9:06 where it was, and do we want to? There's not a ton left, but there's enough to get to Umbra. It's looking like give or take, even if we spent through it, probably another half hour. Do you guys want to keep going, or do you want to call it a break right now, and we'll try again? We'll finish it up at another time.
Maybe we could finish it up at another time. Did you say you're going to be around this week, Lou?
I am. Yeah, I'm flying out. My flight's at 7 a.m. here, so about 10 hours I'll be flying to Chicago. Yep, for almost 2 weeks, like a week and a half.
Really cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We could finish
this physically. Maybe.
Yeah, we could.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, then we'll cap it there. So that was at least an introductory playthrough of the Fall of Magic.
We don't know what's going to happen next, though. Is Magic going to come back? Is Magic over?
Who knows?
Or our characters have to fight each other because of their differing views?
Boy. I might have fucked everything. Please hold.
Just kill
yeah, who knows? Maybe the magic was inside us all along. What are you guys' thoughts so far?
Fun.
Yeah, I like this one. Simple hooks, simple narrative hooks. It's a lot of flexibility.
Yeah,
it's cool. Yeah.
What was everybody's names? Piccolo, Harp, and what was the merchants?
Vago, Vago,
the merchants of Italia.
Yeah. So, I'm trying to think, like, there is a little bit of meandering, and obviously since none of us have, like, a clear story, like, arc in mind, like, it's hard because some of our plots are stupid, but, some of them are, like interesting. Like, I hate to put, Jack on the spot here, but, like, I like Jack's story bits, but also he didn't have story bits for like 3 sections. So like, I'm like, oh, I'm interested in Caspian, the veteran ranger, yada yada, but you also didn't say anything for like 3 sections. So like, I'm like, I know nothing about you. I have a better idea of
mysterious.
He's a mystery. Of Harp and Pickle, yeah.
My first section though. When I started, I was like, I'm excited for this trip. It's like my whole turn.
But I think that works because once we decided that you were in denial, yeah, you're excited to go on a trip with your master and some people you don't know. Like I like where your story went. But also at some point you're going to have to, accept the truth eventually. Also, we don't know what's going to happen at the end. Nobody has decided what's going to happen.
Yep.
Yeah.
Harp and Piccolo are definitely starting a band together. That's it is forewritten. Yeah.
So I think that'll be good. Yeah. So I like some of the I don't know. There is a little bit without dice and stuff. There is a little bit missing. I feel like I do like the randomness, and there's just not enough of it.
Mm-hmm.
But chaos is what makes things interesting, right?
Mm-hmm.
This one gives you a little bit too much leeway, I think. Literally, there's one where you could have an ambush, but you could literally you could talk your way out of that if you wanted to.
One of the things that doesn't happen here is there's not enough opportunity to recontextualize things. Like if somebody there's not enough offering, I should say, and maybe that's on us a bit. Where I don't know, we've been pretty good at it actually. I think of just bringing each other into scenes that look interesting, or that would be interesting for those characters. Right. So maybe it's just a matter of extending that a bit somehow.
I mean, so I try to think about D&D and how generally you try not to split the party, mm-hmm. and you try to do everything while everybody's at earshot, which is always a funny concept. But here, we're all you're kind of encouraged to do your own thing a little bit, and be introspective. But I also think when you read a fantasy novel, right, it's generally a person doing their own thing. It's not like they're constant. Sometimes they are talking to other people, but often it's an introspective sort of thing.
Yeah.
And this one kind of wants you to get introspective, and sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't.
The one thing that's been weird is that the Magus has been absent from all the interactions.
Mm-hmm. But that's also on us. We could be on it, and it's not your fault, but I imagine you could also literally all of your scenes could have the Magus in it.
I didn't feel like I should be taking that much authority with that character.
I kind of like it. I kind of like it this way. It reminds me of it reminds me of Final Fantasy Crystal Chronicles, of all the weird references in my brain. In that it's in that game, every year was another arc, and there was some narrator that talked about what happened that year or how things were going that year, and it's just we don't know this person. How does this person know what's going on? And the Magus kind of fits in that to me of just she's got her own whole life and story that she's trying to accomplish. And we're living out these little side stories inside of it, right?
Yeah.
It's kind of neat that we just check in with her every time we move.
Yeah, I hadn't thought about it until Meg mentioned that. We kind of do things without her.
Yeah.
But then also the other thought is what if the Magus is so off-putting and aloof? You just kind of live your life, and she'll do her own thing, and then when she decides to incorporate you, then you get to hang out with the Magus. I imagine, again, we kind of imply, you imply that she's in her late 30s, but then the rest of us also imply that she's ancient. Which
is the same thing. Late 30s and ancient. Yeah. Anyone over 35 is just, may as well be dead.
That's just right now, isn't it?
I just turned 35. Yeah.
Mazel tov, you're dead to me. But yeah, so I guess the idea is if you are literally the last bastion of magic in the world, you might not be the most fun to hang out with. Who knows? But I don't know. I'm not sure. I like this game. I mean, I like GM-less games, and I like to see more of them. But again, it is nice to have something direct you to do things, because otherwise it's a little bit too freeform.
Yeah, like maybe what this game needs is something. I don't know. I don't think it needs it. Like I think it's fine, but maybe a sense of time would help. Something like in each place you can only have 2 actions. You can only choose 2 of these things before you must move on. Would be interesting, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, or because you could also theoretically avoid like some of the ones where I wasn't sure what to do with them, like the thing about like the change one. We just avoided because we were
We
like,
did.
well,
I don't know what that
about it.
means, so yeah. And
Well, I was thinking-
nothing stood out. Nothing stood out as an obvious like, oh yes, this is a change that needs to happen now, right?
Yeah.
So we
I
didn't
think
take it.
well, I originally was gonna try to see if I could force Piccolo to lose the Apprentice title.
Aha.
Is to just be like, you're no apprentice to the Magus, and then it would just be Piccolo of Ravenhall, and that would be I think that would have been funny, or at least been interesting. But it's fine. Like there was. It's hard. Like again, like like I've been DMing for over a year now,
Yeah.
and like describing scenes off the bat and trying to describe a story, it's hard, guys. It's not easy.
Piece of cake.
Yep.
And I mean, I've seen all of you guys struggle with it too, so just I'm aware.
Piece of cake. Real easy.
That's
Yeah.
definitely.
Really easy.
Really
Oh,
easy.
So
Just
yeah,
start talking
so-
and then hope it ends where it's going. Yeah.
yeah, basically, yeah. Yeah, so I mean, yeah, we'll do another round eventually, but presumably we'll do Strahd and or Storm King's Thunder, one of these days, right?
Yeah. I've got I've got Bebop plans, and I've also got that Avatar one shot that we should try to run someday. So.
Yeah, so many tabletops, so little time.
Yep. I need to quit all my
I don't-
jobs.
I know, right? I don't know. I looked into the Avatar one, and it's a little bit more complicated than I was hoping.
Yeah.
It's not super crunchy, but
Its scope
it's got
is
some
huge.
crunch.
Right, that's the thing. Its scope is huge, so
yes.
we'll see how
That's
it
cool.
goes. Yeah.
I mean, it is got multiple time eras. Like you can be pre-Aang, you can be post-Aang, you can be post-Katara. Like it's
Yeah.
ugh, so much.
It's comprehensive. They're aiming for comprehensiveness, which is a lot. I think they just they're approaching $8 million as a Kickstarter now, which is insane.
Jesus Christ.
Insane.
Uh,
Their original goal was like $100,000, which suggests to me that they didn't think it would be anything close to this.
I mean, I don't know. It's the same thing. The same problem with the Critical Role animated series. Like they were. Part of me wonders if they lowballed just to seem humble. Like
The one trick with Kickstarters is that if you don't cross your goal, all the money gets refunded. If you do cross your
Right,
goal,
yeah.
you get the money.
yeah.
But it's still 100,000 is very. I don't know. 100,000 is a number that feels like that they didn't know. Like they probably knew how popular the brand is, but they probably didn't know how much appeal an Avatar tabletop RPG might have.
Yeah, I think that's exactly what it is. They were not. I think they were aware how popular Avatar is, but not how much Dungeons and Dragons is recently.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
and that's a tough one. But like,
So here's a question: how did they get? Is it actually a Dungeons and Dragons game? Like, is it using 5e rules? Does it even say 5e on it? Okay.
Nope. Yeah. It's its own
the-
system. Yeah.
it's by the. I believe it's incorporated by the Powered by the Apocalypse system, which is mostly just rolling d6s. So like you roll like 3d6s, and a certain amount is pass and failure, and you get some modifiers. It's kind of, I would say it's kind of similar to Woo's game, that Moonshot one.
Moonshot thing, yeah.
Yeah, but regardless, no. A lot of games now are trying to do more inclusive game methods other than Dungeons and Dragons. Because let's face it,
Well,
it's
Well, no,
So-
it's not just that. Like I looked into it because I was working on making my own campaign setting. You don't do build, then the licensing shit is a nightmare. Like you
Yep.
basically have to hire a lawyer to make sure that you
Yep.
don't on
Yeah.
anything.
Yeah. Because things
game
like
design sucks.
the systems are open to use, but then anything that touches a setting or a character or even things
Class
like weapon
subtype,
names,
yeah.
class subtypes,
Yeah.
like all of those are owned by Wizards, so you can't touch those or even like branch off of those. Oh, complicated.
I mean, I forget that Wizards is owned by Hasbro, and you're like, yeah, they're gonna be litigious as shit.
If your thing gets big, they're gonna want a cut of it. What's the other one? The Power Rangers game. I was just reading that there's a Power Rangers tabletop game that originally was going to be 5e based. Yeah, and they just pulled out of 5e. They decided to go with a different system, a different D20 system. Yeah. And I'm wondering how much of it was licensing, right? Or I bet it was mostly licensing.
It's also because I bet a lot of people who play those games have never played D&D, and so it's like easy if you play D&D to like jump into another system. But if you're just a Power Rangers fan that wants to pick up a game,
make it a simple system. Yeah.
Entry is just.
Yeah.
I mean, D&D is gateway drug. I think I don't know if anybody
D&D,
would play a tabletop game.
D&D is a gateway drug because you can easily find someone that's played D&D before. Right, I think if that wasn't the case, D&D by design alone is, if you're the first person in your small town to say hey, I want to play a tabletop game, what should I play? And you picked up a book of D&D, I think you'd be in for a world of pain. Right, you just read through that and then try it. I don't think you're gonna have a good time. Right? You need to watch somebody play. You need to have somebody teach you how to play.
Yeah, it's or at least do some type of a dry run with other people.
Yeah.
Yeah, think about it, because even when we started our first sessions together, that very first session, actually, I don't know if you were at that very first session that we did with Joe. It was painful. I'm pretty sure it's the reason why people never play D&D ever again. Asleep at the table.
Oh no.
I mean, again, D&D also requires a certain amount of commitment, I guess, is the word I'm looking for. If you're not willing to commit and get weird, this is not the game for you.
True. Yeah.
And I'm honestly,
I don't know that role playing is the game for you if you're not willing to get a little weird.
Yeah. If you can't not look cool for a second like that, you can't RPG. I'm sorry. You have to accept some weirdness.
Put yourself out there.
Yeah. But I do think the entirety of all the characters played. There's been weird components. I would say that technically the coolest character is probably Niska, and even she's a dumbass. It's she's probably the closest thing to a actual serious character. I mean, Bubbles is too, but she's also not yeah.
I always worry
stupid for a while.
Because I do this too often too, where I try to make my characters win a lot, and it's I shouldn't try to make them win. I always worry about it. Yeah.
What's the point of the game if you don't win?
Yeah. It was win what? Win what? I don't know, but I want it.
My fantasy character is the coolest. He did 50 points of damage.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's fine. I mean, that is part of gaming too. Yeah. But I posted a couple of days ago. One of the YouTube D&D channels I followed, Davy Chappie, did a history of D&D, and the idea that
I didn't watch that one yet.
Yeah, he made it into it was a 4-part video that he finally compilated or compiled. But the video is a half hour now. But long story short, it's weird that a fucking guy in the middle of nowhere, Wisconsin, can make a game that gets this popular.
Yep.
It's, Yep.
Right time, right place. I mean,
Gary Gygax and his war games, huh?
The right people played games with Gary Gygax or friends of Gary Gygax that it just grew, right?
Yeah. And now D&D is very popular and very gay.
Yeah, incredibly gay.
Yeah.
It's probably the gayest thing I do, and that's saying something.
Mhm. No, I was saying that because one of Gary Gygax's sons was recently under fire for saying like some of the gay stuff that people have commandeered for D&D. He's like, no, that's not what
Yeah.
is part of the spirit of the game, and people just kind of fucking went after him like it's
Wait,
not him. It's like
was he saying it's not about the gay stuff, or that it is about the gay
that
stuff?
it's not like basically
Okay, yeah. He's one of the old guard
kinda,
people. Yeah.
yeah, he's one of the old guard. He's kind of like like he said some stuff that's a little bit
Yeah.
insensitive, if you would.
I mean, like
put it charitably.
Gygax's like written words about how women are not built to play this game are also pretty damning, right? Like,
That's not great.
It's not great. It's not a good look.
Because I would argue that of all of us, Meg is the most bloodthirsty.
Yeah, no, it's great.
She just want blood.
But yeah, no. I mean, again, they're saying like the gay community has really picked up D&D, and that's strange but interesting.
Yeah,
I guess
it's nice to have. It's nice that it is a product that does not depend on the blessings of its owners. Right?
Yeah.
Like wizards could just ruin this thing, like they almost have several times. Like just ruin, destroy Dungeons and Dragons forever, and it will still find a base and will still get played. Right? Like it's
pretty widespread.
There's a reason there are 5 editions of it. Well,
and even things like Pathfinder exists branching off of D&D 3.5, right? Because they're like D&D 4 sucks, so we're gonna do our own thing over here, right?
I do need to learn D&D 4. I hear there are some good things about it. I just don't know what it is. Like I know pretty much everybody either plays 3.5 or 5.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
there's definitely a subset of people who are like, D&D 4 wasn't that bad, you guys. And I'm like, I gotta find out what that's about.
It was only around for like 10 years?
A couple years. Yeah. I mean, this game's only been around for 50 years. Like 10 years is a good chunk.
Still.
In conclusion, chop off somebody's head.
No.
Yeah. With your friends.
With your
With your
friends. Yeah. Together. That's what it's all
Rob a
about.
shopkeep with your friends.
Can we build a
Hey,
game
what
that's
is-
just built around murder hoboing? I mean, is that possible?
I mean, that's like how 90% of people play D&D, right?
I mean, if memes on the internet are to be believed, there are a lot of murder hobos.
I still think that a fun, I don't know if fun is the word, but a fun to listen to podcast would be one of just DMing for randos. Just DM for randos on the internet and just see what terrible, terrible things happen.
Yeah.
I remember at one point before we were playing, I was thinking about like going onto Craigslist to putting an ad out for DMs to DM like a game for us.
Looking for a dungeon master. Bring your own materials. Party is open for anything.
Please DM for a group of absolute newbies.
Leather pants optional.
Nah, I mean that there are plenty of groups like that on Roll20 and even on Reddit. There's an LFG subreddit, and I mean every so often there is a horror story of like, like again it's mostly like either unfortunately it's mostly either sexism or homophobia, but like
a little bit of power tripping too, just like DMs that like to just like, oh, I'm in control of the world and you can't fight. Yeah.
Or if somebody breaks your puzzle and they're not allowing it, or I mean, again, it's hard being a DM, you guys, but like generally,
seems easy. I don't know.
Yeah.
It's a lot of work.
Yeah.
I don't know why you think why it's so hard. I don't know. It seems easy.
I know. I mean, I have a book and it's still too much work. We also that's the other thing is like we also took a break from Storm King's Thunder at a weird point. We probably should have finished the Hill Giants.
At least the arc. At least finish the arc.
Yeah.
Well, what the arc of getting to Maelstrom?
That's a big arc.
I mean, the problem is like you guys have finally stopped wandering, and you finally have been touching the like actual main campaign. So now we can slowly head towards the end. But like, let's go fight.
The last thing I remember from Storm King's Thunder was Loriana like putting us in a position where I feel like we were about to all get killed.
Correct.
Does that sound right?
It's definitely Loriana and not Niska.
Yeah.
Yes. Correct.
I mean, a third of your adventures are like doing something incredibly illegal, but also saving the town. So like, I'm like, well, I don't know what to do. You've saved the town, but you've ruined everything.
It's another wash for the party.
Yeah, we're a divisive group. Yeah.
We both saved and ruined the day once again.
Hooray!
I almost wanted to know what it had. I almost wanted to crash that sky castle into Mirabar and see what happened there, but like, because there's not a lot of leeway there. But I let it fall away from Mirabar, which worked out. But like,
we took care of the sky giant threat.
by destroying the town.
Mirabar was destroyed and paid the ultimate price.
Silly. Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna sign off. See you guys
Bye-bye.
sometime soon.
Yeah.
Yes, eventually.
Karaoke on
Probably.
Friday if you guys are free. So.
Ooh, on the north side?
Yeah, I'll send you details. Yeah.
It's
Alright, guys. I'm gonna go to bed too, I think.
Bye, Jack.
Later, everybody.
Happy work.
Thank you.
go to bed. Mm-hmm.
How do you feel, Libja? You feel like a good man, a good person?
I can't complain. I worked. I helped the common man, and then I played some role-playing games. So I'm pretty happy.
It's good.
All things considered.
Glad to hear that.
And finally, my car got towed, so I am a-okay.
Got towed?
Yes. Hold on. Are we still streaming?
Yes.
All right. Well, let's cut that off first.
All right.
And then
I'm gonna put on a Be Right Back screen. We'll talk, and then I'll probably play some Psychonauts. So be right back.
yeah, I'll watch a little bit of that. But yeah, long